But if I'm being so honest, there really are so many downsides.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Talk Podcast. So, that was not me talking. You guys are definitely going to get to see the young lady who will share a bit more about herself. And not only that, before we start, I actually want to introduce to you guys, let's say, a mind of overthinking, right? Imagine there's something going on in your life and you want to figure out what is the best thing to do. Should I keep going on with this or should I maybe quit? Right? So you sit there, you're trying to draw out a mind map, or maybe you just do an easy pro and con list, right? So let me just introduce to you some things that may come up on that list. Let's start with the con, right? Mental health is declining, feeling dead inside, value and expectation not met, feeling of disgust, shame, people you wouldn't want to interact with, and many more. Now, turning to the pro side of the list, there's nothing. That is the topic today. What is actually the purpose of young women doing this? And why do they choose this in the first place? Where does your pride lead you to? And is it okay to quit?
So it's been a year since I started my OF and my spicy pages, and I just feel super anxious today, and I wanted to just come on here and share some thoughts on my experience so far. I'm kind of scared to share my actual thoughts, but I just feel the need to say them in case anybody who's following me here has any sort of desire to start this kind of thing. I want to start off by saying that I definitely have a really complicated relationship with this whole thing, and there are things that I appreciate about it and have appreciated about it from the beginning. But if I'm being so honest, there really are so many downsides. I'm trying so hard not to get like super upset while sharing this, but
So, quick interruption. There are going to be many more. I want us to keep in mind that she has a conflicted situation, conflicted relationship with this topic, with this lifestyle that she has chosen, okay? She's trying to tell others that you might want to overthink this, okay? Because listen again, there are so many downsides to this, okay? I'm pointing this out because towards the end, this statement that we hear early on, that it can kind of project an image like, oh, she's so caring, she's trying to look out for others. But we need to keep this in mind so we understand later on really that there is a conflict going on within her, and I would claim many more young women who find themselves choosing this path.
if I'm being honest, my mental health since I've started this has just slowly like been on such a decline. And I would say that it started maybe like honestly probably 7 months ago, where about like maybe 6 months into doing this, yeah, about 6 months, I started to get super burnt out. And while I did have such a strong start and it was so much fun in the beginning, after getting burnt out, I started to just feel really differently about like the types of messages that I was getting, and just feeling like sort of the effort that I was putting in to it still wasn't. I guess I'm trying to say there's no amount of money really that you can give me.
So we're trying to understand. Let's just take this for face value. Let's just claim she started off because it sounded fun. Someone told her this could be a fun idea, quick money. We've all heard that story, right? And I'm thinking perhaps she, thought sending some pictures, doing whatever, came into this definitely with her idea of what whoever is going to be consuming this is going to find entertaining, valuable enough that is going to meet their expectation, right? Because a lot of the times what I think is they come up with this idea thinking that they are actually, how to put it, in control, right? And to a certain degree that might be true, but I really think you quickly turn out to be the puppet of your audience in that sense, right? I would claim that very quickly you would be hit with expectations that, like, things that they are asking you to do to keep the income coming, right? And that is, I'm not sure if that is actually fun, right? So very quickly into this, she realized, ooh, this is making me feel bad. I'm getting weird messages. And now she's even trying to think if is this possible to equate this with the money that I'm getting? The conflicts are starting, right? And she's thinking, oh, there's no amount, we don't even know the message, but you see, it's starting, the conflicts are starting.
At this point, and I'm like willing to admit this now, there's no amount of money that you can give me right now to like make me feel like giving myself away in certain aspects, even if
So let's be very mindful about language, right? So there is no amount of money that you can give me right now, okay? To me, it opens room for perhaps soon I could change my mind. So you see, it opens like there is. I'm just pointing out conflict because you could also say there's no amount of money you can give me to do this. Finish.
they're just a few photos or whatever online, it almost isn't worth it anymore. It's hard to describe this because I realize that when I have spoken about OF, that it's typically been in a light where it's like, it's fun, it's art, you make money, blah blah blah. But if I'm being so honest, that really is like the only upside to doing it, like just the ability to very quickly make extra cash. But I think again, like just over the course of a few months, of like half a year or so, just going really hard at it.
I quickly on the side want to point something else out. Making extra cash on the side, okay? That means to me, you still have a full-time job. You still have something else that has to keep you safe, right? There is no relying on this, right? She started off strong, as she said. She's been in this for a year, but within 7 months, she's already been feeling bad about it. So whatever she's been making, if you start feeling bad about something, we all know that you're not going to be giving your best if this is suitable to use. Oh my God. But does that make sense? So most of the time, this is always sold like quick money. Everyone is getting super rich and whatnot, but we always forget that, you see, there's so many, even though it's still kind of like a bubble that is extremely growing. I'm shocked, right? To some degree, I can't lie. But what am I trying to point out, right? So even though you want to say, yeah, it's still kind of a small bubble, but within that bubble, more and more people are trying to get a slice of it, right? And not everyone is going to be making big bands because you're always competing with someone who's willing to do even worse, like more degrading, or I don't know, like you are really putting yourself in a bad position. So I just actually wanted to point out, when they say it is so much money and quick money and all these things, but what are you giving? What is the price that, like, you're actually paying a price for that?
I think I didn't let a lot of like the messages get to me, but I was lying to myself, and I definitely think that it's like really worn on me over time. And it's not to say that I don't have like really good guys on there following me and like monetarily supporting me, even like checking in on me at times where I like, earlier this year I definitely disappeared for a few months, even on here. But even with that, like just realizing that even those people are not people that I would call when I'm having a really hard day just makes it feel just so fake. And I'm not sitting here saying that like I ever got on there to make friends.
Now, given that I'm trying to understand, we are trying to understand, we're trying to think of ideas why someone would perhaps tap into this, right? And I'm thinking to myself, where did that come from? Her saying, now, I'm not trying to say that I would go there, looking for friends. Why would you actually even bring that up? Could there be a slight chance that you went there trying to look for some kind of genuine interaction? Well, if you were, then we need to put this out that is not the right platform, okay? And remember how she said she had to admit that she found herself just lying to herself, okay? And yes, there are so-called good guys on those platforms, but that within is already a lie if you can tell yourself, I wouldn't even interact with these people. So you're lying to yourself. You don't even show the same. If that was to be genuine interest from whoever, you don't even show the same genuine interest. That's one thing. Why do you put yourself in a space where you have to be lying to yourself? No one did that but you, right? I'm pointing out the conflicts.
Let's be honest, it's really just to make money from a bunch of horny men. But I guess I'm just trying to say that just know that if you are a person who's ever been interested in doing this, or if you've like ever been curious about it, there really is just like such a like I feel a little bit dead inside. I feel completely desensitized, and I don't know, like not to sound funny, but I really don't feel any type of like desire or like attraction to men in general anymore. And that's also because of my my personal collective experiences that I've had with like dating like the wrong types of men and things like that.
So this is tough, but this is actually great, okay? So I want to point out that we're not making fun of anyone. I really want people to listen and try to understand. Hopefully we can all learn something, because it happened so quick, unfortunately, that who knows, you were just sitting there thinking this is fun because that's how they put it out, it's everywhere, and you just thought you're going to have a little bit of extra money, all these loosey-goosey talk, and then you find yourself feeling really bad, struggling with mental health issues, feeling dead inside, as she said, right? But I think with all that, there's another very important word that she actually just used, is feeling desensitized. And I think that is what a lot of people are feeling, experiencing. This is what is kind of unfortunate, the new norm nowadays, in the sense that drastic things, different images, and especially also explicit, like hypersexualized images, has become such a thing that we all are in fact desensitized to it. Like, we don't even think it's a thing anymore. You just scroll here, naked body, here, bikini photo. You don't really think much of it, but yet you consume it day by day. And think about, I'm just going to put it out there, think about what that does to an unexperienced mind, right? I just feel like that word means a lot, and that's another reason why I think I've seen some comments and I do understand to some degree when people are like, oh, why do you care and whatnot, like, who are you to say these and that? And sometimes I can even, not only I understand, I can agree, because they're like, mind your business. I am, but still I think there is so much importance on these topics, because it's not about necessarily this young woman. It's just the idea that there might be some young person out there who just doesn't understand the risk behind it, right? And they could perhaps stumble around this, listen to this. Someone could stumble on this, overthink, and be like, oh yeah, am I a bit desensitized to? Is there someone around me that I care for that's young that could, that I could start this conversation with, like, be careful what you're consuming online, because sometimes people tell you something, how, sad and devastated and bad they feel about it, but are they really making that choice to step out? So now you are just consuming this